Hello everyone, welcome back to Film and Flash, and today we're reviewing the Polaroid Model 95B. This was produced from 1957 until 1961. It takes 40 roll film, which is no longer produced by Polaroid, and this was nicknamed the Speedliner model, and it is essentially shares many of the same features and essentially the same design as the original Polaroid Model 95, which came out in, I believe, 1948. Then, after this is the last of the series. So in order to basically pull this camera out to use it, you need to depress this little black thing, this little black pin, I suppose. You press in. Alright, see, this is how it is when you first open it. You press this little black pin, then you pull out on the rails, but don't fully snap them in, because then you need to click this little bar into this little notch right here. There's two of them, one of them broke off on mine, it's whatever, but you take this and you just press it into that little notch. Basically it holds it in, so you just press it down until it clicks, like so. Then you want to click this all the way, which can be hard. It helps if you take two fingers on each hand, but four all together, and press on the bottom here. If you press on top, you'll snap this out of the thing and possibly break it. Anyway, this is your EV adjustment, and it goes from 15 to 16, 17, 10, so it goes basically 10 up to 17. I keep it on 15 just because, I don't know, the number looks cool to me. And here's your lens. It doesn't adjust up here at all. There's only two different shutter speeds, bulb and instant, similar to many cameras of its time. To activate the shutter, you simply press here. You don't have to cock the shutter every time. Now, see, as you can see, it's on instant. Now, to use bulb, you will take this little switch and move it over, like so, until it clicks and it's cambered towards bulb, and then you will press. And now the shutter is held open until I release the shutter button here. And it automatically switches back to instant. So you will have to manually switch it to bulb every time you desire. So, right here is what I believe would be a hot shoe for flashes. Now, one can make the argument that this serves a purpose, and I truly cannot think of what it does. But I don't believe that's a hot shoe. I believe this right here is your hot shoe. On the back here, you will come to find, well, on the back behind here, it's going to be hard to see. I can't turn the flash on because my battery is quite low. Okay, so you will essentially pull out this pin to set the frame to your desired. It's a focus thing, I guess. You're supposed to set the frame to the object distance. The problem is you pull the pin out, and then I guess this here is supposed to move. But I did that, and it didn't move. Regardless, you're not going to be using this camera, but this is just one of the features it has. So you would basically pull these two pins out and then move that bar. And then, as you can see, this has like an accordion style leatherette. And mine looks deteriorated, but it's not. It's just loose and like more flexible than it was before. On the inside, there's no light leaks or anything. The accordion's still good. And the leather's fine. It's just not in the same shape anymore. Anyway, down here is your basically focus distance for the camera, and you will adjust this to the distance of what you're shooting. As you can see here, when this is pushed forward and back, it is moving this little plate, which is therefore moving the lens forward. So you can focus all the way to a minimum of 3.5 feet, all the way to 50 and infinity. This does pack a lot of features for a camera that is alive. Then probably it packs a lot of features for a camera that's probably been around longer than the majority of these people watching this video have been alive. It's not as archaic as you'd expect for 50s technology. But I mean, there was a lot of revolutionary stuff. I don't know, blah blah blah. This is just filler words. Anyway, right here is your viewfinder. It flips up, and then you look through it to basically get a gauge of what you're going to be taking a photo of. It's not very accurate at all. I mean, all it is a piece of glass on top of the camera. So as far as that goes, you're going to be doing quite a bit of guesstimation for what you're taking a photo of. But yeah, it's pretty simple. To close it, you just press it down, which I find pretty unique how these two things pop up. So that's pretty easy to do. Anyway, here's your little strap for holding the camera with one hand. And at the time this camera came out, it was actually considered to be decently portable. I mean, you're basically getting photography that you can carry around with you in one hand. It's pretty cool. Anyway, let's close all this up. So to close it, you will basically just unclip this from here, which should be able to... Actually, I think it'd be easier if I did this. So first, depress the slide by pressing in on this little black pin. Depress this, and then you can just flip this right out, like so. Fold that all the way back up like that, and then make sure when you close this, you close it like... Try to keep it all uniformed and not bend the accordion as you're closing it to try and preserve it more. Because this, I mean, it is old and you don't want to go through the hassle of trying to restore these things. Alright, and then after you do all that, there's no snapping this. You just have to make sure the bar rests on top and nothing's sticking out. Once everything's fully pushed back as much as it can go, you'll then press these two bars, and mine's very sticky, so I have to be a little aggressive. And then you'll push this until it snaps there, which is pretty unique. Basically, to open it, you kind of just reverse everything. You just press this, then it opens that up. And then this has two tripod mounts. There is a tripod mount here, which I suppose is the theory behind it is essentially you would have it on the tripod like this to take portrait photos, and then the tripod mount here would be essentially landscape. So it offers landscape and portrait on a tripod, which is, in my opinion, what this camera was designed for. Tripod. I feel it was mostly designed for tripod use because it is pretty heavy to lug around all day. I'd say the camera weighs either over 5 pounds in my opinion. And then to basically open this camera up to put film in it, here's the thing. I have no idea what this switch does. I've wondered, and I can't figure it out for the life of me. Quick Google search will tell you, but it doesn't serve any important purpose as of right now to me. Basically, you just push this over and it opens this up. And then, I guess this is for loading in your film right here. I don't know how you'd go about loading it in because, you know, it's not available anymore, but, you know, I figured I'd show you guys the inside of it. And then the cool thing here is you have to lift this up. Well, it actually pushes out. You saw I grabbed it and then moved it out like so. And then it opens the entire thing up like so. And then this actually opens up too. And then there's where the accordion is. Basically, it opens completely up, and then, you know, as you can see, it's pretty clean on the inside, which is to be expected because when these cameras sit, they sit closed anyway. So basically your roll film was loaded here on this side, pulled across, and I would imagine goes somewhere here because that's how the roll film worked. My question is, if it's roll film, how do you go about advancing the film to the next roll? You know, it's just another thing. You know, I never really... stuff you can't figure out. I mean, a Google search would tell you how. Also, all the patent information is right here. And just important information, blah blah blah. Anyway, now to close this part, you just put that back in. In my opinion, this is kind of cool. This might be what that's for, actually. No, it's not. This lifts up. So I think you take the photo, and then when you take the photo, the film gets pulled out here. And then you pull it out, and that basically is what does all the advancing. If that makes sense. I'm trying to explain it to you. You put the roll film in, right? And then when you take a photo, it's going to push out a little bit, then you pull it out the rest of the way, and then that advances the film to the next slide. I believe this is an instant film camera. I think it's peel apart, most likely. Or maybe it's not. Now, I want to know what this switch does. And for the life of me, I can't figure that out. I will look it up, and I'll put it in the description if you guys are actually curious and learning about it. But, there isn't too much more to say about this camera. I want to keep it short and sweet. I mean, it's simple and complex at the same time. You know, it's gorgeous. I mean, I've actually been after this camera for a long time because I love the look of the 95. I mean, when you think of a Polaroid camera, obviously not all of you are going to think of the same camera, but you kind of, when you think of an old film camera, you kind of think of the old accordion style cameras that would people would lug around in the 50s with those big flashes, and it gives you a sense of, I don't know, nostalgia. I'm not nostalgic because, you know, I wasn't born in that time, but I think it would have been neat to see how things were. I'm sure most people share that. But it's for people who are into photography and not necessarily film cameras or Polaroid cameras, seeing how photography technology has evolved over the last, what would that be, 77 years, I believe. Yeah, no, it'd be like around 77 years. And see how it's changed. It's marvelous how far we've came. I mean, there's so much we've achieved. And then this little bracket right here is for mounting exposure meters, in case you were curious. Or actually, could be for flash. Probably more for an external flash that mount there, but I'm sure you could probably put an exposure meter there too. And there isn't a whole much more to say about this camera. Thank you guys for watching. Film Flash out.